What's going on, everyone? Welcome, Rabid here, and today we're taking a look at the brand new, latest and greatest solo Bitcoin miner, the Bitaxe 601 Gamma. So the Bitaxe Gamma was sent to me courtesy of Bitcoin Merch. So if you are looking to quickly pre-order this mining, shipping should start any day now. I'm not 100% sure, but that link will be down in the description. So what is new with the latest performing chip? Here it is utilizing Bitmain's latest S21 Pro, which does have a hash rate upwards of around 1.2 terahash. The efficiency achieves a remarkable efficiency of 15 joules per terahash, which is about 15 watts here. You'll see we are using a bit more later on. I think it is more in the 22.5 range. It is a nice, small, compact design, fits in little space here, not using any room, built-in Wi-Fi, so it does run on the go in any room, depending on your actual Wi-Fi connections. It does require 2.4 gigahertz, not 5 gigahertz, in order to connect properly. It is a nice user interface here, features a removable OLED display for easy monitoring of mining metrics and status updates. It is open source firmware. A lot of people are really big on open source, so this is AAAWAVE, allows for customizations and optimizations here. A nice decent cooling solution equipped with a 5-volt 40mm dual ball bearing fan for efficient cooling with minimal noise, and there is that included power supply, which is 5 volts, 6 amp to 30 watts, 50 to 60 hertz power supply, ensuring reliable and stable power delivery. And it does have a side USB-C port for straightforward firmware updates. All right, so before we set this thing up, let's take a look at everything that was in this box, courtesy from Bitcoin Merch. So we do have a Bitcoin sticker here, some more bags of Bitcoin happening right here. We have our special own coin from Bitcoin. So here is a Bitcoin. So that looks pretty freaking sweet here. Another sticker from Bitcoin Merch. And over here we have, if I can get this off, the Bitcoin Revolution. So let this thing focus. The Bitcoin Revolution, which we can see right there. So pretty sweet. So here is the Gamma 601. Let's show you how to actually set it up. All right, guys, so here is our Bitaxe right here beside the older one here, and we have our barrel plug. This is where you plug it in for the power. Over here I have a watt meter plugged in with this, so all I got to do is simply plug in this barrel plug, get power to it, and move on to the next step. All right, so if we look at the display, you can see it is trying to connect to SSIDs. So from this point, we're going to use our smartphone and connect to the Wi-Fi Bluetooth that's within the Bitaxe to actually find our internet connection and then link it up from there. So in our Wi-Fi connections of our smartphone, we can see right there, Bitaxe 1679. So we're going to come into this and click on that and let that load up. Okay, so I am connected. Here you can see I typed in msftconnecttest.com. It does say if you wait, it will connect on its own. It wasn't for me, so I had to put that in manually. But now we can see we are actually in our Bitaxe. So now we can set all our settings and stuff here. So if I click up here and then come into settings, we can come in and now we can set your Wi-Fi, SSID, password, and everything to log into. Before I do that, I want to point out that just underneath of it, that's where you actually set up your pool and stuff. So here's your Stratum URL and everything, Stratum ports, Stratum users, so your Bitcoin address and everything. And depending on the pool you're going to use, this is where you'll set it all up. So I'm actually going to be pointing this to via BTC. It is defaulted, I believe, to CK pool. Most of these always are, and a lot of people enjoy doing that, but I do use via BTC for even my solo mining with all these other miners I got here. So here you can see that's the R909, which you can actually plug into the Mars landers to boost another 1.5 terahash or so onto there. I got 2 Mars landers. One is also upgraded from the F chip to the A1 chip. More videos on those coming soon, but everything here is available at Bitcoin Merch. So we're getting a little over 1 terahash now, as we can see. Once you put in your settings, make sure you do unplug it, then plug it back in. That way it will take the settings and apply them as they should be, and then connect to your network. Also, you got to keep in mind that this is only going to work on 2.4G. It will not connect to 5G, so make sure you do have a 2.4G connection to connect to the Wi-Fi for that. So now let's take a look at our power now that we're hashing a bit. All right, so just trying to get in there a little bit, we can see about 22.5 watts for a little over 1 terahash. That's pretty good. So you can also, at this point, once you are connected and ready to roll, and you don't need a smartphone, I should point that out as well, to connect to it initially. If you have a laptop with Wi-Fi or, you know, a PC with Wi-Fi, you can kind of put it close to it and use that to connect instead of a smartphone. I know that question was asked in a previous video with other Bitaxes and Mars landers. So keep that in mind as well. Anything with a Wi-Fi connection can connect to it. But now that we're on our main network, we can see it is here. You can now simply go into point that IP in your address of your web address here of your browser, and you can go through everything. So here's our dashboard. We can see all our power. It's saying 19.1 watts. We do know we're about 22.5 watts. Input voltages, ASIC voltage requested here. You can see our frequencies of our chips and everything. In your settings, which you can, I guess we'll come into here. You can kind of see some of my stuff here. But you can actually set your frequency and core voltages, so you can overclock this a bit more. If it's like wintertime where you are and it's nice and cool, keep an eye on the temps, or maybe you get a better cooler, or maybe you'll just melt it completely. But you can now do everything within a web GUI, within also your web browser. Now you no longer need a phone or anything like that once it's fully connected to your network. And then coming into the pool, I am on solo mode here, obviously looking at our workers, and the fourth worker here is detected. It just started, so we don't really have any decent hash rates yet, but everything is working as it should. So that's pretty awesome here. The Bitaxe Gamma, the latest and greatest solo mining Bitcoin chip. All right, guys, so there we have it. The most efficient, small, compact, mini solo Bitcoin miner is now available. It still might actually be pre-orders at Bitcoin merch, guys, but check that link down in the description just to be 100% sure. Shipping should start soon, but I don't exactly know when. Now, kind of comparing that versus something like this guy, a big box. This is the Nano 3, which was very, very popular. It was about 4 terahash at 140 watts on max mode, so that actually works out to be like 35 watts per terahash. And here, you know, we're getting around 1 to 1.1 terahash at only 22.5. So this thing is a much more efficient chip than what the Nano has in it. So that's, you know, pretty sweet there. All right, so what is the main purpose of this miner? Because obviously if you throw it onto a pool, you're not really going to make anything at all. Cents on the dollar, if possible. If you're lucky, you'll make sense. So what's happening here is this is a Bitcoin solo miner, which means if you are lucky enough to hit a block, that is worth about 3.16 Bitcoin or so, depending on fees. Could be quite a bit higher, upwards of 10 or 11 Bitcoin. But the current price of Bitcoin is currently like $72,000 just for one, and it's going up as that bull run is right around the corner. So imagine having the chance to be able to hit that block, and that's what this does, is give you the chance for that to happen. Now, the odds of that actually happening are next to zero and probably never ever happen, but the thing is, you're telling me there's a chance. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Rabid out.